Now, today's call, just so you understand why we're all gathered here, is really about learning how to use the secret, learning how to utilize the secret behind the secret. Because I know many of you online have obviously watched this DVD, The Secret. To me, it was a wonderfully life-changing movie. And yes, I'd been teaching these principles for years and I'd had amazing success in my life. But when I first saw that movie, I totally understood that it was going to transform this planet in a way that nothing else had. Because whilst the information may not be new, it touches people in a way that simply can't be explained. And I think it's because it's a movie. It touches people in a way that when you sit down to read a book, you've got to concentrate. When you listen to an audio, you're just hearing. But when you watch a movie, you can sit there, you can relax, you can take it in, you see the audio, you see the visual, you get connected in a whole different way, in a very emotional way. And I found that with the movie that definitely happened with me. And so many people around the world who would otherwise have not understood exactly how the secret could impact their life and may have heard about it in some way or another, not necessarily the movie The Secret, but the law of attraction. I think this movie really drives home how understanding the secret and how understanding the law of attraction can really impact your life in a massive way. And for those of you that are new to my calls, let me just give you a brief 1-minute intro of who I am and why I can speak on this topic. I came from a place of really struggling financially, $100,000 in debt and receiving the sole parent's benefit. And by learning about the law of attraction and applying it in my life, I've gone from totally money challenged to being a millionaire in a short space of time over a period of a few years. And so my number one passion is teaching everyone else how to do the same, because I didn't have any amazing background. I didn't have any genius level of skills. I left school in grade 11. I didn't even finish high school. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any financial support behind me, but I just took the law of attraction and I married it with practical strategies, and together I have created amazing success in my life. And my mission, my purpose, my calling is now to show everyone else on this planet that is even remotely interested how they can do it too. Sound good? All right. Okay. So for those of you online that have seen The Secret, and those of you who haven't, obviously this is specifically what this teleconference is all about, but for those of you that have, you'll understand that The Secret is all about teaching the law of attraction. It's all about learning how to focus on what it is that you want. It's all about learning how to create your own reality. And my passion, my number one focus is always about creating more prosperity, more abundance, more success, more riches, more wealth, more money in your life. And you might say, well, why do you want to focus on that? That's so materialistic. Well, let me tell you, having gone from that place of struggle and being able to transform that in my life, I find that having been able to create those millions in my life has allowed me to free up the areas, all those other areas in my life. My health is better. My relationships are better. I feel so much more at peace. I'm so much more creative. I love what I do. I'm able to travel the world. So, yes, the focus might have been on money, but what that has allowed me to do is allowed me to create a life I love. It's allowed me to create freedom, not just financial freedom, but freedom itself in my life. And that's what I'm wanting for each and every one of you, to be able to create the freedom you desire, the freedom to make choices based on your desires rather than on your bank balance, the freedom to do what makes your heart sing. That's why we want to create that financial freedom. That's why we want to attract that money into our life. Don't get stuck on the old saying that if you're wealthy, you can't be spiritual, or if you're spiritual, you can't be wealthy, because wealth and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. You can have both. I consider myself to be a highly spiritual person. I mean, I utilize the metaphysical principles, the metaphysical strategies every day in my life, and I teach them around the world. But I'm also wealthy. I love the two together. I don't think I could live if I had spirituality without wealth, but if I had wealth without spirituality, I need the two. And so for you, you need to understand that you can have it all. Whatever it is for you, whatever, as I said, whatever makes your heart sing, you can have it. So you need to understand how the secret works. So what I'm going to do is have a bit of a discussion first of all, share a little bit about what I know. Then, as I always do, open the call up for questions so that you can get clarification about what it is that you want to know when it comes to the secret, when it comes to the law of attraction. And let me just say before I start, this is just one of the most exciting times in the whole of history to be alive, honestly. We are just so blessed. Obviously, the movie The Secret, phenomenal. I teach those principles in my book, Wildly Wealthy Fast, which are specifically on creating that riches and prosperity and abundance in your life. But for the first time ever, Oprah is going to do a full show on The Secret. Is that exciting or what? Isn't that cool? Yes. And it's happening very soon. She's holding the show on the, as far as I know, and it won't obviously be for us here in Australia. We won't get to see it until later. But it's going to be on the 31st of January. It's only less than a week away. And what she's doing is she's having Rhonda Byrne, who is the producer of The Secret, a beautiful lady. I've met her, spent some time with her in not LA, right near LA, Santa Monica, where she was living at the time. And so she's going to be there, and I'm so proud because she's an Aussie. Yay! Go Aussie girl. And she's transforming the planet with her beautiful movie. So she's going to be on, and a couple of the teachers from The Secret, like Reverend Michael Beckwith, and a couple of other fantastic teachers. Yeah. Oh. Okay, there seems to be a bit of background noise. Hope that's all gone now. So it's really being able to live now in this time and have someone like Oprah sharing that message is absolutely phenomenal. So we're really excited that the message is getting out there. And so make sure you tell all your friends to watch that particular segment that day, 31st of January, and get the word out there, because if Oprah embraces The Secret and more people watch it and it becomes, one of their most popular shows, then more of that sort of thing will be shown. More of The Secret will be not just The Secret, but the law of attraction and those sorts of teachers, and more on personal development. And the more that we can spread the word, the more not only this planet will transform, but your life will transform. Because it's all about human consciousness. And every time one person raises their consciousness just by the smallest bit, then the rest of the planet gets raised slightly too. And when we have enough people focused on the same thing and all focused on creating a life we love, tapping into the metaphysical, tapping into the law of attraction, utilizing it in our life to create the love, the happiness, the joy, the rich relationships, the vitality, the health, whatever it is we desire, when we use that in our life, then it becomes easier and easier. When more people do that, then it'll become easier for us all. So you really want to spread the word about that. Okay, so first of all, the secret behind The Secret. Number one is, yes, you learn how to create your reality. Yes, you learn the law of attraction. You learn about what you focus on is what you create. However, just knowing it isn't enough to transform your world. Just knowing it is not enough to make it work in your life. You actually have to begin to utilize the principles in the way that suits you, because the thing is, the law of attraction works for every single person on the planet, whether or not they know about it or understand it or even believe it. It doesn't make any difference. It works for everyone. However, what happens is usually by default, people that don't understand it, etc., are usually attracting what they don't want, because they don't understand. If they don't understand the law of attraction, then yes, they're focusing on things, they're thinking about things. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's in between, and therefore that's what they're attracting, some good, some bad, and some in between. But once you understand The Secret, once you understand that what you focus on is what you create, it gives you the opportunity to then make choices. It gives you the opportunity to then decide, what do I want to create in my life? What do I want to attract into my world? How do I want my tomorrow to be? And that's probably one of the most exciting things, understanding that your very thoughts and your emotions are what paint the picture for your tomorrows. It's almost like you are a movie writer or a screen director, and you get to choose what goes on that movie of your life, that movie that's going to be showing tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. You get to select what it is you want to be seen. How do you do that? Through your thoughts, through your focus. So having a clear understanding of that gives you the opportunity to then make a decision about what you do want to think about. So let's just say in this moment you're experiencing financial challenges. You're experiencing more bills than you can pay. You're experiencing a little bit of a hiccup in the flow of abundance. Let's just say that's your reality right now. Now you've got a choice. You can do two things. You can focus on how it is. You can think about how it is. You can worry about how it is. You can get scared about how it is. You can really put your energy into how it currently is, which is what most people do. And when you do that, when you think about it, when you feel it, when you consider it, when you talk about it, when you email others about it, when you get scared about it, when you get sad about it, all you're doing in that moment is putting in an order for exactly the same thing to occur tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. You're putting in an order for the same thing to occur in your future. So that's choice one, focus on how it is. Choice two is focus on how you would like it to be. And people that don't have any money at the moment and maybe are struggling a little bit financially and are experiencing that hiccup in the flow of abundance, they're thinking, well, how do I focus on it? I'm consumed with my bills. I'm consumed with my money situation. It scares me. It frightens me. How can I focus on what I do want? And I say, look, I've been there too. I've been that $100,000 in debt and receiving welfare from the government. It was about $15,000 a year. Australian dollars a year. So at that time, the exchange rate, I think, was, pretty, I don't know if it's good or bad, or which one, whether it was good for Australia or, bad for Australia, or good for the US, bad for the US. But at that time, converted, that added up to about $8,000 US dollars a year to live on, me and my two children, everything. So to say I was struggling was just a massive understatement. To say I was scared was an even bigger understatement. Yet I began to understand that if I could just change my focus to what it is I wanted, then I could begin to attract that into my life. And no, it wasn't a matter of suddenly 1 second changing my focus and thinking about the abundance and then, in the next second the money appeared in my lap. That's not quite how it works. However, what it does is when you begin to focus on what you want and you put your energy there and you switch your vibration to be there, and that is where your predominant mental attitude steers toward, then what that does is it plants the seeds for your tomorrow. It plants the seeds for your abundance. It plants the seeds for the prosperity and the riches that you desire. And so what you'll find is, and it could be as close as the next hour or the next day, things will start to move. Things will start to change. The universe starts to shuffle things around. And suddenly, again, the money may not just appear in your lap, but, you might find you get a discount on something, or someone gives you something that you've been desiring for a long time, or you're offered something for free, or you get a check in the mail you weren't expecting, or you get a tax return, or, on and on. Things start to happen to show you that you actually are in the flow. And then when that happens, you start to feel more abundant. And as you begin to feel more abundant, then more things start to occur in your life. And then you feel even more abundant. And then even more things start to occur in your life. And then you feel even more abundant. And on it goes. And that's why the saying the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, there is a grain of truth to that. Because quite often the rich keep thinking about money and about richness, and they continue to attract more of it. The poor, on the other hand, continue to think about their poor circumstances and their poor financial condition. And so that's where their focus is. That's what they continue to create. However, that's not set in stone. The poor can begin to focus on what it is they do want. Focus on the abundance and the prosperity and the riches they desire. And in doing so, you begin to switch your predominant mental attitude to that of what you do want. And when you do that, that's the order you send to the universe. And the universe picks that up loud and clear. And that becomes the thing you attract back into your life. And then it's easy to feel a little bit more prosperous. It's easy to feel a little bit wealthier. It's easy to feel like you do have a little bit of abundance in your life. And so when you then continue to focus on what it is you desire, it begins to grow. You begin to attract it more, and on and on. Now, some of you on the line might be thinking, well, that's all very well and good, but I am struggling right now. I don't have the cash, the money that I need. I don't have, any prospects. I don't understand how I can change that. I can't even begin to feel abundant and prosperous. How am I going to change anything? I feel stuck. You can feel like that sometimes. I totally understand. I've been there. However, it's one of those things. It's like that saying, you've got to fake it till you make it. You've got to make it up in your imagination first. That's how it will come. So let me give you an example. Yes, right now, I currently live on the most beautiful island, surrounded by multi-million dollar homes. Many of the people have beautiful yachts and they're all very, very successful. Now, at one stage, I obviously couldn't afford to live on an island like this. However, something that I could have done, and which I did do, to help me feel more prosperous, was to drive to areas where there were beautiful homes, expensive homes, homes that I would love to own. But instead of going there from a place of lack and driving and looking at these glorious homes and thinking, it's not fair, I wish I could have one of them. Why can't I have a house like that? What's wrong with me that I can't create something like that? That's a place of lack. That's coming from a place and making a very strong statement that I don't have that in my life. When that is your statement, when that is the energy you're giving out, when that's your predominant mental attitude and your vibration that you're sending to the universe, then what you get back is, I don't have that in my life. And you continue to not have that in your life. However, if you visit that same area, look at those same beautiful homes, the people with the beautiful cars and the yachts, etc., you look at that, and if that's something you would like, you look at it and feel, that is for me. I can imagine myself living in that house. I can just imagine myself driving in that beautiful driveway and opening that front door and walking through that glorious, huge mansion and making my way to the kitchen and getting a beautiful glass of fresh juice and then wandering out to the back outside area and maybe taking a seat by the pool under the umbrella where I'm shaded and it's lovely and cool and I have a beautiful view of, whatever it may be for you. It may be a beautiful river or it may be a beautiful valley or a forest or cityscape, whatever it is for you. But imagine that you can have that house in your life and that you can choose any one of those homes and that, you may not have it right now, but just imagine what it would be like to actually own one. Just get yourself in that feeling place. Just imagine. And by imagining it, that is how you create it. By not just imagining, though, you've got to get very clear on this. This is another secret. Imagining it alone will not do it. Saying the words alone will not do it. Having the picture in your mind alone will not do it. What creates is the feelings behind it. The feelings behind the words and the pictures is what creates your world. Because you could be in a situation now where you don't have a lot of money. And you may be saying to yourself, okay, I want to be a millionaire. So I'm going to say to myself over and over, I am now a millionaire. I am now a millionaire. And you could say that 100 times a day with no feeling whatsoever and just say it over and over and over and over again. And you would not have the same attracting power as if you just stopped for a moment and closed your eyes and thought to yourself slowly, strongly, and flooded your body with the feelings and said in your mind's eye and saw it in your mind's eye, I am now a millionaire, and flooded your body with those feelings and saw what you would be doing being that millionaire and felt how you would feel being that millionaire and really connected with that picture and with that feeling of being a millionaire and was at one with being that millionaire. Saying it once in that way, feeling it once, seeing it once in that way has far more power than just saying the words over and over 100 times. It's the feelings that create. You need to invoke those feelings in everything you do around attracting what it is you desire into your life. Yes, see it in your mind's eye. Yes, feel it deep within your soul. Yes, say those words out loud, but fill every cell of your being with the feelings. The feelings are what will do it. The feelings are what will create faster, quicker, easier, more in the flow, far less effort than ever before when you invoke those feelings. They're so important, so important. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, I am going to open up the call. However, when I open the call up, I'm going to be asking if anyone has a question regarding attracting whatever it is you desire into your life. However, if you don't have a question, there's something you can do for me that will mute you out so that we don't hear you and we don't hear your background noise, but you're still connected to us on the call, okay? What I want you to do is press *6 and you'll be muted out for us, and only the people that want to ask a question will be heard. Oh, excellent. Thank you, everyone. Marvelous. Okay, so does anyone have a question? Just say your name, where you're calling from, and we'll see if we can get your question answered. Someone from Canada, go ahead, please. Okay, we've got someone from Canada that's going to ask a question. I'd love it if everyone else right at this point can just press *6 who hasn't already pressed it, just so our lovely person from Canada can ask their question. Okay, when you ask it, can you ask nice and loud and slow, please?
Okay, is that me, Kathy, that you're talking to?
That is you, Kathy. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just still hearing a lot of beeping and music and...
That's all right. If you ask your question, I'll be able to repeat it and mute everyone out.
Okay, I can hear you clearly at least. So I'm really at a searching stage right now, and I ran across your millionaire thing, and I've signed up for it. I left a career, stable career of workaholicism, and I've been training to be a facilitator and train courses, and the word coaching kept popping in my head, and I'm taking a course on Monday on coaching, but I feel like I'm going in so many different directions, and I feel like I have a calling, but I can't quite nail it down, and I'm in a situation like before. I have my children. I'm recently separated. I'm on my own, and there really isn't any money coming in yet, so I need to move things along.
Excellent. Okay. I can help you with that. Okay, so for those of you that couldn't quite hear Kathy's question, the essence of it was that Kathy is trying a lot of different things, She's not really sure what that one thing is right now, but at the moment there's no money coming in. That's the number one certainty at this point. A couple of things that I can suggest to you. When it comes to money, yes, we can do all the affirmations and the visualizations we like, but those seeds that we're planting for the abundance to flow to us may not actually flourish or bloom, right now. They may not bloom tomorrow. They may not bloom next week. It might be a month or two before they do. Therefore, we need to do something right now to make sure they do bloom. The way it works is, yes, you can focus on the abundance and the prosperity and the wealth and the riches and having everything work out exactly the way you want. That's the seeds that you plant. However, once you plant the seeds, if you then from that point onwards start to experience what Kathy's experiencing now, and maybe the cash flow isn't quite the way you'd like it to be, and so you get a bit scared, when you get scared and you put a lot of energy into the fact that you don't have the money that you want flowing to you right now, in essence what you do is cancel that fabulous order for more abundance and prosperity and wealth that you put in yesterday. You cancel it out with that fear, with focusing on how you are money challenged, because that now becomes your order, because the energy in that is far stronger than the energy in wanting to create that wealth. So for Kathy, the number one thing you could probably do is you're not clear on what it is you want to do. You've been called to coaching, which, may I say, I think coaching is an amazing, amazing business to build. I don't want to boast or brag in any way, shape or form, but I myself have used coaching to create the most incredible income flow of my entire existence. Again, I don't want to scare you off, and I don't want you to think, oh, that can't possibly be true, but I've gone from being on the sole parent's benefit to bringing in over $200,000 a month simply because one of my first steps was coaching. I looked at coaching myself and honestly thought that it was a wonderful, wonderful way to create a business from home, which I could do around my children. I didn't have to go to work every day, etc. However, while I was doing that, there was a period where I did go out and get a part-time job, something to bring me in that cash that I needed to actually, keep the money flowing, to pay the bills. So I totally believe that whilst you're looking, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't be trying this, trying that, trying the other. Give one thing a good go, a really good go. Try it out. Give it a go. Put all your energy into it. And if then you decide it's not for you or it doesn't work out, then try something different. But don't try 10 things at once, because your energy and your focus will not be there and you won't be able to create the success you're wanting. I really have found that to be so true. You need that laser focus, that energy into one thing to make it blossom. And when it blossoms and you find out it's not what you want, or as I said, it doesn't work out the way you wanted, then you can switch focus. But you'll find you'll get the result. You'll know the direction you need to take so much quicker than trying 10 things at once and never quite knowing what's for you. And the other thing, obviously, is, try and get a part-time job. Try and get some way to bring the cash in, because what that does on two levels is, number one, obviously, you've got the money there to sort of pay some of those bills, which makes you feel better, but making you feel that little bit better on a metaphysical level allows you to continue to attract more of what you desire into your life, because just by having that money coming in on a consistent basis, whether it's big, small, or in between, just knowing that it's coming to you, it frees up the energy around money just that little bit, which allows you to then attract more to you, which frees up the energy even more, which means you attract even more to you, and on it goes. So they're the two things you can do. You can begin to focus on one thing, give it a go, and as I said, coaching is the most amazing, fabulous way to create, particularly an online business. Once you've mastered the art of coaching, you can then decide, what particular area you want to specialize in, and then you can build a business around that. And that's something that I love to do, showing people how to create massive success by using the internet and their passion and their hobby. The other thing that you might like to know is this year I'll be rolling out a program where I will be actually training facilitators to take the information from my book, Wildly Wealthy Fast, and the principles from within The Secret, and be able to become accredited facilitators with LawsOfAttracting.com and be able to build their own businesses so they can get out there and not only utilize the strategies and the tips and the ideas in their own life and therefore see massive success, but be able to go out there and share it with others, thereby creating a wonderful business. So absolutely, keep doing what you're doing. It can be confusing sometimes because you don't quite know where you're at, but try and narrow your focus down instead of trying lots and lots of different things at once. Choose one or two or three, then just out of them, choose one to focus on, give it a go, and then move on if it's not right. Or if it is right and you really feel like this is what you want to do, put all your energy in there, all your focus in there. But at the same time, utilize The Secret, utilize the law of attraction, utilize the metaphysical to build your success, to create that business that you desire. Don't just do all the doing, all the frantic, practical, normal day-to-day building of a business. Take some time every morning to close your eyes and see that business growing wonderfully, and clients and customers and people being attracted to you and your business, and money flowing to you, and the word being spread about how fabulous you are, how fabulous your product is if you have one. Use that time every morning and if possible every night as well to just, take that small amount of time out of your day to set the intention of how you want it to be, and that alone will help you to create the success you desire so much quicker than if you spend all day every day doing the practical stuff, doing the stuff that everyone else in the world knows about. You need to utilize the secrets from the principle, or the principles from The Secret, to actually make it work for you quicker and easier than ever before. Hope that helps. Okay, I'm going to open the call up and see if there's another question. I think it was Kerry from Melbourne, Australia. I may have got the name wrong, but go ahead, please.
Sharon from Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Maddie from Victoria.
We've got someone from Melbourne, Australia. I think it was Sharon from Melbourne, Australia. So if everyone else could just be quiet and let her speak nice and loud and slow. It's your chance. Sharon, are you going to speak or not?
Yes. Do you want me to talk now?
Yes, I want you to talk now. If you don't, someone else will ask a question.
I have issues with kind of refining my goal. I trained as a fine artist for 10 years. I have not been really creating for the last 15 years, but I still feel that's my passion.
Okay, just before you go on, can everybody else on the line that is not asking a question right now press *6 if you haven't already done so? Okay, go ahead. So you've been having issues and you haven't been creating for about the last 15 years, I think you said?
No, I've kind of been doing little bits and pieces, and every time I do artwork, I'm just astounded by it. But I really find it, I've got a huge fear around committing to one thing. I'm a Gemini. I've got lots of kind of fears around settling down and focusing, because that means I miss out on something else.
And so you keep jumping from thing to thing.
To focus and vision, because I can't set my mind, and I've got so much fear of failure attached to it, and actually taking action and creating something.
Okay, I can help you with that one too. So for those of you that couldn't hear the question, it's really about not being able to create because of fear of failure and also fear of committing to the one thing. One of the excuses she gave is she's a Gemini. Don't worry, I'm a Gemini. I've been in the same boat myself, so I know exactly what you're going through. It's no big deal. Number one thing to remember is When you decide you want to attract something into your life, whether it's a new job, a new business, an amount of money, a new relationship, whatever it is you want, in that moment, that's what your heart desires. In that moment, that's what makes your heart sing. And so that's fabulous. By all means, focus on it. Put everything you've got into that. Understanding that if it arrives in your life and it's not what you want, the universe is not going to look down at you and go, oh my gosh, you ungrateful so-and-so. You wanted that in your life. I delivered it to you and now you've changed your mind? What's going on? That doesn't happen. The universe does not care how many times you put in an order for anything. You're here at this smorgasbord. You can have whatever your heart desires. You can decide to have the chicken and the beef one day and the prawns and the lamb the next day. It doesn't matter. So it's the same with creating everything in your life. You have a smorgasbord of relationships and financial situations and amounts of money to come into your life and businesses and jobs and everything. And you get to choose. And you can choose one thing and you can have it come into your life and you can decide it's not for you, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know how many times I used to get hung up on the fact that, well, firstly, I couldn't decide what I wanted because being like you, a Gemini, I'd want one thing one day and one thing the next. It didn't matter. I just decided that as long as I was clear that I wanted something wonderful, and I let the universe know each time I focused on something that I wanted this or something greater, this or something better for all concerned. I made that little proviso at the end of my affirmations and my visualizations, and I didn't necessarily just say it, but I just felt it. I felt that I either wanted this or something even better, because I knew the bottom line was the universe is there to give you everything your heart desires and more. And more. Because you can't always decide on what's best for you. You can't always decide what it is you actually want. But the universe gets the essence of the vibration, gets the essence of that, and will bring you that and something even greater. So don't get hung up on the fact that you're not clear on exactly what it is that you want, and that you may keep changing your mind and you don't want to commit to one thing. Just pick anything that makes you feel great. Focus on that, because the exciting thing is, the way it all works is you and all your thoughts and your emotions and everything in this universe is made up of those tiny vibrating energy packets. That's all we are. We're all just bundles of energy. And wherever your energy is, or the other word for it is wherever your vibration is where you begin to attract. So if you just can't make up your mind what it is you want, but you just can think of one thing that would be nice, even if you keep changing your mind about it, and you focus on it, and you feel it, and you really believe that it's yours, and you feel wonderful and happy and full of joy, what happens with you energetically is you move into that joyful, high energy, wonderful feeling, vibration, that frequency, if you will. So everything else in the universe that will bring you that joy and that happiness and that feeling wonderful, everything else on that frequency is then available to you, and you can start to attract it into your life, even if you haven't said, this is exactly what I want. That's why, when it comes to the law of attraction, the better it gets, the better it gets. And the worse it gets, the worse it gets. So the better it gets, the more you focus on how good it is, and so you continue to attract more good, and then you focus on how good that is, and you continue to attract more and more and more. And so the good thing is about that, as I said, you just need to get clear on just one thing that you'd love to bring in your life, and that would bring you joy and happiness and fulfillment and whatever it is you're desiring, and really give that your all. Give it all your energy, all your focus. Really put your whole heart and soul into it. See it, feel it, affirm it. And then that will put you in the vibration for all those other wonderful things to flow into your life. It's just the way the universe works. That is one of the secrets to the secret. You don't necessarily have to be crystal clear on everything you want to bring into your life. And the cool thing is, if it's not exactly what you want, just, manifest it straight out again. I mean, I remember the time when I was struggling a bit financially. Well, not a bit, a lot. And I really, really just wanted to find something practical, a practical way to bring some money into my life. And I remember seeing this fabulous company here where I live on the Sunshine Coast, and I thought it would be cool to work for them on a part-time or a casual basis. It'd be a great environment, it'd make me feel good because they were very prestigious, and it'd bring me some money. And so I manifested this job. They rang me one day because I knew someone that worked for the company, and I'd sort of spread the word that I was looking for something. And they rang me one day to say, we'd love you to come into our sort of sales room, our showroom. They had a beautiful store right on the esplanade overlooking the beach at Mooloolaba, and it was to sell these lovely high-rise apartments that they had. And the person who normally sells them was away. She was going to be somewhere else on that particular day, on that Saturday. So they phoned me on I think it was the Wednesday, to say, we'd love you to come in and just work for the day. And I thought, fabulous, exactly, this is perfect. I'm not doing anything. It will be wonderful. I can't wait. So I'd manifested that into my life. I'd attracted it into my life. However, the next day, I got a phone call from one of my girlfriends. Now, I think at that time she'd just got engaged, and I hadn't seen her for a while. She was coming up on the weekend, and this was going to be my only chance to see her. I hadn't seen her for ages, and I was torn. It's like, I want to work for the day, but if I ring them up and say I can't now, they will never ask me again. I can't do that. But oh my gosh, I so don't want to be there, because I'd rather be with, spending the day with my girlfriend, and we could go and have lunch and talk about what's going on in her life and, catch up. Well, being the master manifester, guess what happened? I got a phone call on the Thursday to say, oh my gosh, something has happened. The person who was going to go away isn't going away now. We won't actually need you for this Saturday. And I said, that's fine. Thank you so much anyway. And so I got to have both of what I wanted. Yes, I was able to attract that thing I wanted into my life, but then I didn't want it, and I changed my mind, and then I got to have that day off and spend it with my girlfriend. So honestly, don't get hung up about, is this right, is this wrong, do I want this, don't I want this. If it feels good to you at the time, then that's what you can focus on. And you'll find that you can change your mind, or you can attract something different into your experience. So I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to open the call up again. Remember, if you haven't got a question whatsoever, make sure you've pressed that *6.
Sandy, this is
Oh, we've got so many. You know what? If anyone's got a question, feel free to email it into me at sandy@wildlywealthy.com. If you've got a question, we're going to have more than one call, because I can see normally we only have a couple of questions. We got dozens today. If you've got a question, you've got access to email, feel free to send it to me right now at Sandy, Sandy, @wildlywealthy.com. That's WILDLYWEALTHY, Sandy@wildlywealthy.com. And I'll make sure that my assistant just sends them straight to me right now. So if you do have a question and I don't ask you, just email it in, and I'll, if it gets to me before the end of the call, I will answer your question anyway. But right now I'll open it up for a live question, so let's try again.
Okay.
I heard someone from Canada there. If you want to go ahead, please. And then someone from Majimba, okay? So there was someone from Canada and then someone from Majimba.
Are you calling from Canada?
Go ahead.
From Majimba in Australia. You just said a few minutes ago that the positive thought and then having a fear and negative would fight those people. But on the secret, the Reverend said that the positive thought is much stronger than the negative.
And that's the whole thing. I think people get so caught up that they think when they have a negative thought that it's going to cancel everything out forevermore. it only cancels it out if that then becomes the only thing you're thinking. You decide you want that abundance, you decide you want that prosperity, you want that wealth, and you begin to focus on it, and you feel really empowered, and you feel like it's going to happen, and you just really feel like you're finally going to get in the flow. But then something happens. Maybe a bill comes through, and you don't have the money, and suddenly you plummet back to that place of being scared and worried and doubtful about whether or not you can actually create any sort of abundance in your life. If you continue to focus on that negative, well, then that's it. You're there. And so that's what you're going to then continue to plant the seeds for, and that's what you're going to create. But if in that moment you can understand that focusing on what you do want, that positive thought, as Reverend Beckwith says in The Secret, and I actually met him about a week and a half ago over in America when I was there for a special meeting with a few dozen extremely powerful people from all around the world. But as he says in The Secret, the positive far outweighs the negative. So you never have to get yourself caught up that if something, things are going along nicely, you feel like even though maybe what it is you desire hasn't actually yet manifested, you kind of feel it in your bones that it's probably on its way. You feel like everything's going to be okay. But then there's a hiccup or a challenge or a little glitch in the system or a bump in the road. Something happens that kind of takes you off focus, and you suddenly feel that fear, that worry, that what it is you desire isn't coming. Instead of getting hung up on the fact that you've had a hiccup in your life, you've had a little glitch, and that suddenly it's not going to work for you. Suddenly the thing you want isn't ever coming. Suddenly it's the end of the world. Instead of going down that path and spending time putting energy into it not occurring, because then you are beginning to create more of the same, understand that, as that gentleman just said, your positive thoughts are so much more powerful than the negative, so much more powerful. So if you have a glitch, you have a problem, you have a negative thought, you have a moment or even a day where things aren't going the way you want and you think there's no way out, guess what? Tomorrow, or even next hour, or even next minute, or even next second, or even right now, you can make a different decision. You have the choice to make a different decision, have a different thought, have a different focus. And the moment you do, the moment that thought or that focus or that energy or that predominant mental attitude is toward the positive, toward what you do want, in that moment, the universe begins to shift things around. The universe begins to rearrange everything so that what you desire can get in the pipeline and be there ready to manifest in your life when you're in that right energy, when you're in that right vibration. So absolutely, you need to get over that whole fear of not being able to create, and that it's not going to work for you, it'll work for everyone else but not you. Just continue to focus on what you want. Feel positive, feel empowered, feel amazing, feel in the flow. And it has to come to you, because those positive thoughts are so much more powerful than any of those silly old negative thoughts that crop up from time to time. So thank you for pointing that out to me. Okay, now there was someone from Majimba. So everyone else, please press *6 if you haven't done so already. And the gentleman from Majimba, if you have a question, please go ahead.
Thanks, Andy. That proved to me I can manifest. That'll be the fourth caller through. Look, a couple of things I have, and you've already touched on those and answered some of the questions. In Australia, we tend to have an attitude of "she'll be right, mate." Now, I'm not sure whether having that thought continually is actually holding some of this law of attraction back, in that because it becomes a habit of thinking it, you're not really feeling it anymore. The other one that I've always learnt was that through marketing, every no that you get brings you closer to a yes. Now, would I be much better off thinking that yes means yes and forgetting about the no's?
Okay, good questions. Okay. So the first one is yes, we do. Oh, and by the way, we are, for those of you that are around the world that don't kind of get what an important weekend this is, we have Australia Day on January the 26th. So tomorrow for us, which is Friday, is a public holiday all around Australia, and we all get out there and do our very Aussie things like, eat meat pies, or I'm going to be baking one of my very special pavlovas, which is very Australian. Or we go down the beach and play cricket, or people go on marches and have their flag, but it's a really cool day. And because of that day, I'm going to be offering everyone a wonderful, wonderful bonus, but I'll tell you about that later in the call. But yes, we do as Aussies have that attitude, she'll be right, mate. However, it all depends on the energy or what the actual intent behind those particular words is for you. So for me, when something goes not the way I'd planned initially, I have, yes, that thought, she'll be right, mate, but not necessarily in those words. But to me, the thought is everything is going to work out even better than I wanted. Everything, because whatever happens, the universe is always trying to give you bigger and better than you've ever desired before. So when something occurs and it looks like it's going wrong, it's just the universe's way of reshuffling what it is so that it can work out right. For instance, maybe you're in a relationship right now and that relationship has turned sour. That relationship has gone downhill fast, and maybe you can't understand why that person is so horrible to you. It may be a partner, an intimate partner, or it may be your boss. It may be, something, a workmate. It might be anything, but you're thinking, why is this so horrible? Why is this not working? And you actually decide that you've had enough, you're leaving, you're out of there, it's all over. And what it is sometimes it's not actually that person who is the most horrible person in the world. It's just the universe needed that person to be that way so that you would make a different choice and move you toward your ultimate destiny, the thing that you actually need to be doing or the person you need to be with. But you couldn't see that for yourself. You couldn't make that decision. You couldn't make that move. And so the universe is just, put someone in your life and stir them up and change them in such a way that you can actually make a different decision. So from my perspective, when things aren't going the way I had planned or aren't going exactly the way I'd wanted, I understand that it's all going to work out fabulously in the end. So that's my definition of she'll be right, mate. However, there is also a definition that is very, it's almost, how can I call it? It's almost kind of lazy, like I couldn't be bothered and she'll be right, mate. Like, I don't really care. She'll be right, mate. It'll work out okay. Or it's almost like you don't care what happens in the end. And when you've got that energy, then the universe can't get clear on what it is that you want at all. And so you sort of get a bit of a wishy-washy result when you've got wishy-washy energy. So it all depends on the intent and the feeling behind those words. So if you're the sort of person that when something happens and it's maybe not so good and you say, she'll be right, mate, but you're saying it with the knowing that it will be right, it will be bigger and better and more fabulous than ever before, and that's why you don't care so much, then that's wonderful. However, if you say those words from that place of you really couldn't be bothered and it doesn't really, you don't care one way or the other, then you'll get that one way or the other wishy-washy result. So it really is the intention behind the words. Now, the other thing you talked about, believe it or not, I've just totally forgotten. I started to write it down, so I might just open the call up, and if you want to ask that second question that you mentioned.
Thanks, Sandy. That was great, that first bit. Now, the second one was that through marketing, I learned one of the laws I worked under was a no.
Yep.
Bring you closer to a yes.
Yep.
Now, in my thinking, I was thinking of changing that yes just means yes because I'm looking for the yes. By putting out that no, would I then be wishy-washy as you said? If I've got to get all these no's, I'm going to get a yes.
Yep, excellent question. So, for anyone that's read the book by Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman I think it's The Greatest Salesman in the World, it is just fabulous. There was a chapter in there that totally helped me to move forward at a time in my life that I may have just got bogged down or gone backwards and never have created the success I have now. And that chapter was, I will persist until I succeed. And one of the things that talked about in there is exactly that. As a salesperson, and when I say salesperson, I don't necessarily mean you are a salesperson going out there selling something. But if you have a business in any way, shape or form, then you are a salesperson. You have a business, a product, a service that you're trying to get the word out to. And so when they talk about every yes just leads you closer to a no, I remember when I first started a business marketing personal development courses, I just fell in love with the course because it was teaching the law of attraction, and they'd built a whole networking business around it. And when I first started it, I'd never been in sales in any way, shape or form before. And what I had to do was phone people up and speak to them about the product and about the business. And I used to get off the phone and I'd be jumping around the bedroom, yes, 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 yes. And my daughter would run in and say, did you make a sale? Did you make a sale? Did someone buy something? And I'd say, no. They said no. And she would look at me like I had lost my marbles because she couldn't understand what I was so excited about. But it was from that book that I understood that every no just means you're taking a step closer to a yes, because when it comes to anything to do with making money, it's all a numbers game. The more people you reach with your message, there is a percentage that's going to say yes. That's the way it is. There's also a percentage that will say no, but there's a percentage that will say yes. So the more people that you get the message out to, the more sales you make. That's just the way it is. And so I'd jump around the house being so excited by these no's because I knew I was so much closer to the yes. Now, again, it's all how you feel. If you get a no and you feel despondent from it and you feel negative from it and you feel like you've lost something from it, you feel apart from your success from it, then in that moment you're just creating less of what you want because you're creating more of, not having the sale, not having that success, etc. Whereas if you understand the secret and you know that what you're focusing on is what you create, when you get a no and you understand that the no does just move you closer to success, then I would just continue to focus on that fact. Yes means yes, but a no just means you're closer to a yes anyway. So getting excited about that and knowing that, those yeses are closer, those sales are closer, that money flowing to you is closer, that just allows you to attract more of it. So I wouldn't get hung up on the words. I'd just say, a no just means you're closer to a yes, and yes means yes. Hallelujah. It's all fabulous. So I hope that helps. Okay, I have got a whole stack of questions that have flown in. Just so you know, our call is finishing at my time, Australian time here for me, 1 o'clock. However, I did promise you a bonus. What I'm going to do for everyone that buys The Secret or buys the book Wildly Wealthy Fast by the end of this weekend, which is our Australia Day weekend, I'm going to give you a whole stack of bonuses. Because I want to give you lots of content, I'm not going to go into what they all now, but I'm going to send an email to everyone who's on this call so you know exactly what that is. But it's a whole stack of stuff that's going to allow you to take The Secret and to take the principles in Wildly Wealthy Fast and create massive success. But right now what I'm going to do is we're going to keep our fingers crossed and we're going to stay on the line. Sometimes we get an extra 5 minutes, sometimes an extra 10. Sometimes we've even been on the line for like half an hour or more. So we're just going to hang in here until such time that we get kicked off. Remember, I will record the call and you can listen to it at a later date if you need. So I'll be sending you an email about that too. So I'm just going to continue to answer questions because that's what I love to do. So someone's got here, how can I best manifest the improvement in my relationship if I don't know what his motivations are? Okay. Number one, you can only ever create for yourself. So rather than trying to find out what that person's motivation is and whether they're wanting a long-term relationship or a short-term fling or whatever it is, all you need to do to get what you want is focus on what you want. You don't necessarily have to focus it with that person, but you could see yourself. Now, let's say your desire, now I could be totally off track, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's say your desire is for a loving, supportive relationship with someone who just loves you unconditionally and wants to spend the rest of their life with you, married in a blissful relationship. So all you need to do is spend the time focusing on that. You don't have to see that person's face in there if you don't want to, but you just want to see yourself in that relationship. Feel what it would be like. Imagine how blissful it would be to have a partner who totally loves you unconditionally, who loves the good, the bad, and the indifferent. They don't care. They just love you. They love the essence of you. They're there to support you. They're your cheerleader. They love you. They adore you. They're proud of you. They bring out the best in you. They feel wonderful when they're with you, and you feel the same about them. That's what you want to focus on. You want to feel how good it feels to be in that sort of relationship. You want to feel how you'd feel. See what you'd be doing with that person. Really connect to it. That's your only role in creating the relationship you want. You focus on the ideal. And guess what happens? And this part might not thrill you, but either that person will begin to transform and change and become the person you want, or that person will leave your life and the person that you're imagining, that relationship, will occur with someone else. So don't get hung up on the person because, as I said, the universe might be making that person a certain way because you can't make a choice. So you just need to focus on what it is you want, the essence of how you'll feel in exactly the right relationship, and that's how you create it. Okay? All right, next question. How can I learn to visualize more effectively? I have a block when it comes to visualizing. I can't seem to see anything clearly. Okay, that's a really good one. Susan, the thing you need to understand, and everyone on this call needs to understand, is for some people, visualizing is like closing their eyes and seeing this beautiful movie where everything is crystal clear.